All right, Jordan, score prediction time. Time to give our thoughts and our score predictions on exactly what the numbers look like when the clocks hit 0 in Charlotte this coming Saturday. The spread opened up at SMU -2. It now sits at SMU -2.5. The over-under opened up at 53.5. It now sits at 55.5. How do you see it going, Jordan? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, man. What's funny is when we predicted the South Carolina game on last Wednesday.
Yeah.
I picked with my brain I picked with my brain. You picked with your heart.
Absolutely, 100%.
And I told myself, and initially when I found out that Clemson was going to play in this game, that I was like, I got to be consistent. I can't pick Clemson to win a game against an opponent of this caliber when we haven't seen them do it this year.
Right.
I can't do it this time. I think Clemson finds a way in this one. I feel like this matchup favors SMU in a lot of ways, especially offensively with how much speed they have.
Yeah, some of their strengths directly exploit our weaknesses.
Yeah. But I have this belief in Clemson as that part of their DNA in this type of setting in Charlotte. It's hard for me to bet against them, man. Well, yeah. I don't, and not literally bet. I don't bet on Clemson games anyway. But you get what I'm saying,
right?
I think Clemson finds a way. I think the offense, creates, has a really, really good outing, and I think the defense makes enough plays. I feel like they took something from last week because in a lot of ways they did play well and they had a good game plan. I think that carries over at least somewhat into Saturday. I think Clemson wins in a really, really tight ball game. It's probably going to be a gut-wrenching, heart-pounding, stroke-inducing game again.
Oh, yeah, but it's going to be close. It's going to be a nail-biter. It's going down to the last second type game. That's certainly what it feels like.
Yeah, but I think they find it in this one. I'm going to go Clemson 35, SMU 30. I think there's going to be a lot of points, a good amount of points in this game. But Clemson finds a way, and they're headed to the playoff. I really think that.
So he's picking Clemson to win outright and over the 55.5 for the point total. Jordan, I'm going to be honest with you. When I first heard that Clemson was going to be in the ACC championship game, I maybe did not have all of the positive, warm and fuzzy reactions that maybe some fans out there did. Just being full transparency with everybody out there. I was pretty ticked off still from the South Carolina game. And I was like, oh, we're in the ACC championship game? Good. We're going to go lose another game on a big stage. That was my first reaction. Full transparency, 100% honesty here. I was not full of excitement initially. Eventually I got there. And then I was like, man, what do I even know about SMU, which is admittedly not very much. I haven't watched them a ton this year, watched them a little bit here and there, but not a ton this year, and really got in and watched a few of their games and tried to figure out who they were as a team. And initially I didn't feel great about this matchup at all. You mentioned a lot of the things that they're very successful doing on offense is some of our weakest points on the defensive side of the ball. So that's not super comforting. They got a defense that can absolutely get after the quarterback. We got an offensive line that is still trying to shake back from injury. So there's a lot of reasons to pick SMU in this game. There's a lot of reasons as to why they're in a 2.5-point favorite in this game. But just like last week when I picked the South Carolina game, and I picked with my heart, I'm doing the same thing this week. I just can't go into an ACC championship game and pick against my Tigers. Not in our home away from home up in Charlotte, North Carolina. We know that venue well. I just can't pick against the Tigers. I think it's going to be a very difficult game for the Tigers. Ultimately, I think the defense gets just enough stops and the offense does just enough to eke out a win against SMU. I'm going Clemson 31, SMU 28. Clemson will be off to the playoffs, and I hope SMU as well.
Yes. I think no matter what the outcome of this game is in a Clemson victory, that SMU gets the opportunity to play in this game.
They should.
And of course, play in the playoff. And if they win, obviously that's great for them too. But if Clemson wins this football game, SMU better be in the college football playoff.
They have to be. Look, we've heard this committee on more than one occasion say, hey, we're not going to penalize people for playing in their conference championship games. Well, we're about to see. Yeah. Because I think Clemson's going to win this game. So we're about to see if they're true to their word, if they're truly not going to penalize people for losing their conference championship games. Because I don't think they should. Like an 11-1 team whose only loss is to a BYU team that they only lost by 3 points to. You're going to leave them out.
And they're, the quarterback that they've had the most of the season wasn't even the starter in that game. He got plugged in. So
yeah, got plugged in late, and then they moved on, and he's kind of led them through the rest of this season. So, technically, this guy don't even have a loss on his resume. So you got to factor that in, I think, if you're the committee and look and be like, oh, well, they were starting this other quarterback. This guy kind of took the job. Ever since he's taken the job, they haven't lost up until this game, right? So that's just my thoughts on them. I don't think this game should matter for SMU for the simple fact of getting into the playoffs. Now, it should matter. They obviously want to come in. They want to win the ACC championship in the first year in the conference. That would be amazing bragging rights for them. But again, I think the Tigers get it done. 31-28 is my score prediction. You got the score 35-30 in favor of the Tigers as well. So that's how we see it shaking out. Hopefully you guys will get your score predictions in the chat as well. But Jordan, before we move on to our next segment, you mentioned the all ACC selection. So I did want to kind of put that on the screen real quick so everybody could see it. And it would, let me get this out of here for a second. All right, there we go. 2024 all ACC selection for the Tigers. You got Antonio Williams, Blake Miller, Barrett Carter, Marcus Tate, TJ Parker, Avion Terrell, Phil Maffa, Jake Brenningstool, Walker Parks, and Peyton Page. Your thoughts on Clemson's all ACC selections, Jordan?
Yeah, it's good for the program. First and foremost, Clemson had the most selections on the all ACC teams. In a year where you have 3 losses, that's good. And it's a testament to how talented the roster is, and the fact that you kind of squandered some opportunities this season. Let's hope you don't squander another one on Saturday. But when you look at it, Antonio Williams, first team, deserved, 100%, almost 900 yards receiving and rushing, double digit, 11 touchdowns. He's been everything that you hoped he would be this season. And hope he has another big game on Saturday. Blake Miller, especially when he's healthy, one of the best offensive tackles in the league. I think he deserves to be there. And Barrett Carter got announced as a Butkus Award finalist. Big deal for him. We're really excited. I was kind of surprised to see that he was first team. I feel like at times this season he certainly did not play his best. But I think it's a respect to him being a senior first and foremost, and then he's been one of the staples of this defense for multiple seasons. So good for him. Marcus Tate is here to start the second team, I believe. Yep.
Marcus Tate.
Yep. Obviously, one of your most important offensive linemen, and when he's healthy, at least he is really really steady. T.J. Parker, at defensive end, honestly was surprised he didn't get first team, having double-digit sacks on the year, which is also another thing. I believe one of our BYG or cells, when we did our season preview, was that TJ would have double-digit sacks.
It was,
and so that was cool. I think we sold that to be honest. So he's been even.
Yeah,
we might have.
I don't know. I don't know what we did on that one, because we knew Peter was going to be opposite. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know what we did with that one, but I'm just going to go with we bought it and we were right. So we'll take the win on that.
You bought it and we were right. We can do that. It's our show. Nobody's going to go and fact check us.
Right.
Please don't.
Fact check if I don't care. That's the story, and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah, even if you do fact check us, we are going with this narrative.
Okay. I'm not changing.
But yeah, T.J. Parker, double-digit sacks. He's the first Clemson player to have double-digit sacks since Cleveland Farrell in 2018. So that is to tell you the kind of season he's had.
That's a big accomplishment, man. That's huge.
Yeah, absolutely. But didn't get first team for whatever reason. I can whatever. Avion Terrell, second team All ACC. Your number one corner.
Yeah,
he's been really steady all season. One of the best cover guys in the sport and all of college football, in my opinion. Phil Maffa, well deserved, especially for what he brought. The first for most of the season, and obviously he's definitely slowed down the last couple, but and I believe he starts off the third team if I'm reading that correctly. Jake Brenningstool. He's had a really nice year on the whole. Third team. Walker Parks, when he's healthy, which has been hit or miss over his career, he's been one of your arguably your best offensive linemen. Hopefully you get it. He plans on coming back another year. They got a year back. So that's going to be potentially massive for this offensive line next season. And then Peyton Page. Really awesome to see him get an All ACC selection, because I feel like we don't talk about him enough, because he's been around for so long, and he's just been kind of steady. He's not been one of those guys that's been in and out of the lineup with injury. He just goes in there, does his job, and he's really disruptive doing it. So he's been one of the steadiest defensive linemen over the last few seasons, and I don't think people realize he's out of eligibility because he's played ever since he's played like 4 full seasons essentially, and he's barely missed time. So happy for him to get that, well deserved, because he's been really steady in the rotation this year.
Yeah, absolutely, man. He definitely doesn't get enough love, but certainly a huge part of that defensive line, part of the jumbo package on the offensive side of the ball in short yardage situations. He's in on special teams. He does it all, man. He does it all.
Absolutely. So congrats to all 10 Tigers that were selected to the All ACC team. Cade Klubnik being omitted from any of the All ACC teams is still kind of rubbing me the wrong way. I mean, threw for over 3,000 yards. Over 30 touchdowns to just 5 picks, 30, total touchdowns to just 5 picks. And, another, how many yards does he have rushing? Like 400, 300?
I'll tell you right now. Give me 1 second.
It's in that ballpark, and another like 4 touchdowns. Like, I mean, what couldn't he have done to not deserve one of those All ACC teams? He's 12th in the country in QBR with an 80. I don't know what he needed to do to make an All ACC team this year. I feel like he played well enough to deserve at least third team. I didn't expect him to be over Cam Ward or even Kyle McCord, who led the nation in passing yards. Like I'm fine, I understand that, but
he's got over 3,000 yards passing, 29 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, and then he gave you another 437 yards on the ground and 7 touchdowns.
Seven rushing touchdowns.
7 rushing touchdowns.
And I believe the third team pick is the quarterback we're playing on Saturday, in Kevin Jennings. And I think he's had a great year, but he's thrown less touchdowns, less yards. He's thrown more interceptions. He has not rushed for as many yards or as many touchdowns as Cade.
Correct.
I get that he was not the full-time starter for part of the year, so that does factor into it.
Sure.
But I don't know. I feel like I think he got on Trevor mentions in the chat that he got honorable mention, which is, I mean, that's cool, but I feel like he played well enough this season to warrant a third team selection. I don't. Maybe that's just me. I don't know.
I mean, responsible for 36 total touchdowns and only 5 interceptions. I think he earned it, but again, obviously, the people that vote on that feel much differently than we do. So shout out to all the 10 selections from the Tigers. Congratulations to every single one of them. And here's to the postseason. Here's to making a run of it.
Yep. Absolutely.
All right, Jordan, it is BYOG or sell time, the last segment before we turn it over to the chat section. So let's go ahead and get it done. BYOG or sell, I will start. And I'm going to go 2 teams from the ACC make the 12-team playoff. BYOG or sell?
I have to believe that the committee will have some integrity. I want to believe that they have integrity. I'll say BYOG. I'll buy, but like it's like if you wanted me to put a number on it, it's probably like a 3 in terms of confidence of that happening. If Clemson were to win this game, and I feel like the committee, like the chances of the committee finding a BS way to slip Alabama in there over SMU feels pretty. It feels, very, very possible. So I'm going to have hope just for the SMU, for any SMU fans that are watching. Like if Clemson were to win this game, I will be going to bat for them to make the playoff because I feel like they've earned it already. And Rhett Lashley has talked about it this week. Like if SMU gets left out of the playoff because they lose their conference championship, then that's going to start a whole conversation about coaches wanting to opt out of their conference championship games if they've earned if they're already solidly in the field. Like,
yeah, I mean, at that point, do you want to play in your conference championship at that point? You're 11-1. Your second loss is in the conference championship game, and you drop out of the playoffs. Like, I can't pretend to know the gymnastics, the mental gymnastics that the committee will have to go through in order to leave SMU out of the playoffs if they end up losing to Clemson. It better not happen, dude. It better not happen. Because in my opinion, if they leave SMU out of the playoffs this year, basically what that does is that tells every single ACC team, hey, if you don't win the conference, just don't even worry about it. Like, that's your only path to the playoff. That's what they're saying, in my opinion. If SMU loses to Clemson, 11-1, 11-2 after that game, and they don't make the playoffs, they're telling every single ACC team, if you don't win your conference, you're not going to the playoffs. So just don't even worry about it. So hopefully that doesn't happen. Hopefully our Tigers get it done, and then hopefully SMU is in the playoffs with us and can make a little noise of their own.
Yep, absolutely. All right, my turn. All right, BYOG or sell. Clemson wins the turnover battle by more than 1.
I'll buy. Clemson's been really good in the turnover margin so far this year. I don't know the exact stats on it. What are we up in the turnover margin this year?
I believe we are
14.
14, and I believe that's good for top 10 in the country.
Yeah, we're up 14. So, yeah, I think we definitely win the turnover margin in this game.
Man, that's another thing that sucks is that you've been so good. How bad you were last year at at preventing turn giving the football away, and then this year you've been so good at not only. I mean, this defense has forced turnovers. They've certainly lacked in other areas, but they forced turnovers, and offensively, you've done a good job of not giving the football away. So it sucks that you have 3 losses the way that you do, but this SMU team has given they will turn it over at times, and Kevin Jennings is not a big guy. If you hit him, he's given up some fumbles at times this year. And obviously he's thrown 7 picks, which isn't a lot on paper, but when you think that, he wasn't the starter for, they were kind of rotating quarterbacks for a little bit early in the year. It's like, okay, well, you can get a pick on him, and they are they're an aggressive offense. They try to create explosive plays. I mean, he's 9.3 yards per attempt, I believe. So, they do. They are a very explosive passing offense, and they will take chances. So, yeah, I think Clemson. I'm with you. I think Clemson can win the turnover battle here. You want to do another one or another round, or do you want to hit the comments?
Yeah, I got another one for you. I'm gonna go. This is gonna be on the game right here. So, the winner of the ACC championship, whether that be SMU or Clemson, the winner will need a game-winning drive.
Yeah, I mean, I said it was going to be a nail biter. I'm a buy. Buy.
I'm with you. I'm buying. I legitimately think this comes down to a last-minute fourth quarter drive, and who can get the job done. That's how I see this game going. I think it's going to be very close. I think it's going to be terrible for Clemson fans' blood pressure, but hopefully we can pull it out and get the job done. So,
yep. All right, one more for me. Let's see. Okay. Clemson outscores. No. Okay. Look, Clemson outscores SMU in the middle 8, and that's the difference in the football game. BYG or so. I forgot to say that first.
I'll buy. That's a good one though. Yeah, that's a good one. I really like that one. That's good. I'll buy because I think if not, then we probably ultimately lose the game. So, got to win that middle 8. This SMU team has been really good in the fourth quarter of games. So, putting some distance between you and putting some points on the board in that middle 8, I think will definitely be crucial in Clemson winning the ACC championship game.
Absolutely. All right, let's see what you guys are talking about in the comments. Well, let's get your BYOG yourselves first, and then we'll transition to the regular comments. Let me see. I want to get the beginning here. Mir says BYG or sell. Tyler Brown 50+ yards receiving. Oh, I would love that. That'd be cool. I'm going to sell, but I think you see him. But man, a Tyler Brown breakout legacy performance in this game, coming back from injury would be legendary. But I can't expect that.
He goes for like 5 catches for like 110 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Imagine.
just goes off.
Yeah,
I don't think it happens, but that would be fantastic. He's certainly capable of it. I just don't know what his health situation is right now. Like, I feel like he's probably been good to go for like a week or two now, but then again, I don't know. Like, I don't know. So I don't know if they're gonna like limit his snaps or what they're gonna do, but I'll sell. I'll sell on them 50 plus.
Yeah.
But then again, I mean, he runs a slant across the middle. He could go for 70 on one play. So
Yeah.
Who knows?
Who knows? BYOG or sell, Cade 250 plus passing yards, 3+ total touchdowns. I'm going to buy that. I think Cade is going. I think you're going to win this football game on the arm of and legs of Cade Klubnik.
And legs, yeah. I think that that's an important piece. Is like Cade's going to have to get it done on numerous occasions in this game with his legs, and he's proven more than capable of doing that. So, and I think he needs over 250 passing yards for us to have a chance to win this game. So,
yeah.
Definitely buy on that.
I don't think you're going to get enough production out of your traditional run game in this game. No. SMU is a very good run defense.
They're a good run defense. You got a banged up, lead back. Your other backs haven't gotten a lot of burn this year, so it's really going to be on your receivers and Cade Klubnik to create with his legs. That's your path to victory if you're Clemson.
Yep. Let's see. Marin says BYG or sell. Tiger scored 28 plus points. I think that's why I picked 35-30. So I'm BYG or that on that.
I picked 31. So
we are in agreement. Dylan, BYOG or sell. Clemson has 2 big takeaways in the championship game. I'll buy that. BYOG.
Yeah. I think Clemson's defense forces multiple turnovers in this game.
Yep. And I think that you're going to have to, you're going to have to, because this offense, this SMU offense is explosive, and so you're going to have to. If they give you a gift, you got to take advantage.
Right. We just need the offense to capitalize on those turnovers this time.
Yes. Scoring off those turnovers,
turn them into points,
would be nice.
Even if it's just 3 points, turn it into points.
BYG or sell, we run at least 2 trick plays.
God, I hope not. God, bro. We didn't talk about this in the South Carolina.
No, we didn't. We didn't talk about the double reverse.
But look here, I swear, I don't ever want to see Clemson run another trick play against South Carolina ever again. Yeah, it never goes well. So for that,
going back to the Steve Spurrier days when Sammy Watkins threw the
why do we keep doing this? Why do we keep doing this? It always ends in disaster.
It's
every time.
It seems like every one of our recent losses to South, the 2 recent losses, and then even during the 5-game losing streak.
Yeah,
it featured either a trick play gone wrong or a special teams blunder or stuff that can't happen that uncharacteristic from this team normally. It happens. It's so.
Yeah, so no trick plays. No trick plays.
I'd like they're going to have some ready. I'm actually going to buy that. Because they've shown that they will do it. I don't think they've learned their lesson from it, and because they were successful at them in other games this season, they're going to feel like they can do it. And that last week was just a fluke. And maybe it was, because that was really unfortunate that both Cade Klubnik and Phil Maffa stumbled on that and caused that to be a fumble.
It was just like a comedy of errors, if you will, on that double reverse, whatever it was. And it would have probably hit pretty big if
if they had got it to Cole Turner, that would have been.
Yeah, it probably would have went for some good yardage, but I don't care. We were moving the ball just fine with our conventional plays. There was no reason to do it. And if you just glance back into history just a little bit, we don't tend to do very well with trick plays when we're playing South Carolina. But I hope not. So I'm a sell. I hope we don't run any trick plays.
Yeah.
I hope we don't have to run any trick plays. Here, I'll put it that way.
All right. All right, we'll do one more from David. BYOG or sell Maffa 150 yards. I'm selling. He's not. I don't think he's there, and I think this run defense for SMU is too good.
He's not healthy. Yeah, one their run defense. Two, I don't think, and I love Phil Maffa, and I hate that his senior season, especially with how amazing of a season that he's had, I hate that it's ending like this because I truly think that he's like maybe 60% as far as health. Like he's banged up pretty significantly. And I don't even think it's just one shoulder at this point. I think it's both of his shoulders. Like he looks, I mean, he looks like he's in pain every time you see him on the field. And I know he's an absolute dog. He's a soldier. He's going to give everything he's got until this season is over. And I respect that, but he's just not, he's not in a good place as far as his health wise and his body. So, and you mentioned SMU's got a really good run defense. So 150 yards, not happening. I think he's more around the 50 to 60 yard range.